so we made sure he went missing. Successful, I felt. All the memories come flooding back, hit different. I've changed a lot, friends list got thinner. Ain't tripping about enemies, true and stay hidden. He was lurking, so we made sure he went missing. Told the fakers to leave, but they wouldn't listen. They faulty, now they gotta watch me glisten. They ain't silent, like some snakes, they stay hissing. Spreading words and rumors, they gon' keep dissing. Coming from a bad place, oh yeah. Tryna be a better me just for you. But it ain't easy, it's hard to get used to. Minding my own business, not my worry about what he do. Cause nowadays all the niggas to be seafood. I always said this is that I'm staying around people. Finding my own path like I'm not.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, forever you are. Guys, it's your boy GSC Garvan back again with another video for you guys. Today we're going to have a little discussion about Enzo Fernandez because, did I get the Enzo Fernandez saga? Did I get it wrong? Did I call it too early? Or, I'm all right. But I said that I think Enzo Fernandez probably is not really fit for the Premier League, and wonder if, he would fit in the Premier League because the style of play, the way how we play, and the type of player that he is. We all know Jorginho was at Chelsea, and we all see that Jorginho did well for Chelsea, but against like the physical teams, teams used to line up to press him because they know for a fact that he will make a mistake where they can hit us on the counter. A lot of times that, when Jorginho was at Chelsea, he makes a lot of mistakes, especially when we're fitting a corner and he's back there, it cost us few goals in few games. Don't remember the exact games, but I know that he cost us a few goals, and he's a similar type of player like Enzo Fernandez. But the difference with Enzo Fernandez, he's got a little bit more legs to him, and a little bit more physicality than Jorginho. But the way how Enzo play, I I for one, and the way how we bought him was my biggest concern because I watched so many football games in my entire life, and I definitely see that you know back then we got players that have a magnificent World Cup, and after that, they went on big money moves and they never tend to live up to expectation. So I got that as a concern too. But did I get it wrong? Did I call it too early? Or let me know, guys, in the comment section. But let me know what you guys think. Did do you think that I should have waited, until at least the end of this season before I make my judgment? I'm still have a little bit of not doubt because I know that the manager that we got, I would be a liar if I sit here and told you that I didn't expect him to start well or didn't expect him to do better with this team that we got, because I know this team that we got, it's a good team. I know the players are not that bad like what we said last season. I know there was a lot of room to improve. A lot of there was a lot of if or but for a fact and for sure, I never thought that the players were that bad that we bought. I know it will take time for these players to gel together. I know it will take a manager to come in, and to put in a system that can fit all these players. So all of this was something that I really think or thought about. But I know for a fact the way Enzo play, and majority Argentina players never really do that well in the Premier League, especially midfielders. Once Sebastian Veron was one of the best midfielder in the world, and this is where I take my doubts from with Enzo at the time, because if you look at Sebastian Veron, he was one of the best midfielder in the world when he was playing for Lazio. He made the move to Manchester. I think it was Manchester United, and he couldn't figure it out at Manchester United. Then Chelsea end up bought him, and he still couldn't figure it out because Chelsea thought they still could get the best out of one Sebastian Veron. A lot of people don't know that Sebastian Veron ended up even play for Chelsea because of the way Chelsea was. Big up, big up, big up, big up, my guy. I appreciate you tuning in. A lot of people never expect that Chelsea will we go for him, but we did under Jose Mourinho when we were splashing all the cash. And at the moment, Joe Cole did already sign for Chelsea before and get the number 10 shirt. Because even Joe Cole was saying the reason why he ended up getting the number 10 shirt, it was because of the likes of he signed before Sebastian Veron. So that was the quality of midfielder. And he was an Argentina international too. He was one of Argentina best midfielder at that time with Gabriel Batistuta as their striker, and he was playing as the attacking number 8 slash number 10. He can play all around in that midfield, box to box. He was a lethal shooter. He was a player that can shoot from anywhere. And those are some of the things that I take into consideration, and those are some of the things where I was criticizing Enzo Fernandez so early, because of what I know or I see history sometimes repeat itself, and sometimes history don't repeat itself. So it's a two way tab. But I think that as I'm going back down to the history, of some of the good midfielders that come out of Argentina, one Riquelme, was another talented midfielder, one of the best playmaker I ever see, from Boca Junior. He was one of of the greatest playmaker I ever seen, but he never lived up to expectation either. So a lot of Argentina midfielders, never really live up to expectation when they leave Argentina and go, wherever in Europe. So Argentina's midfielders never light up Europe in that way. Different from probably Zanetti, slash right back was playing there in Inter Milan. He have a wonderful career because he was playing as a right back, sometime as a midfielder. So the defenders from Argentina normally make the spotlight or bigger than the rest. But the midfielders from Argentina never really light up Europe, and I take all of those things into consideration because of my past. So I'm here to hold my hands up and say this season, he proved me wrong, which we're gonna go through the Enzo um, Fernandez a little bit, but just to put all of these things here to let everyone know my reason why I made this early prediction. BX Gunners 81. Big up yourself, man. Big up yourself. Yeah, so I make my prediction early on Enzo. That that was my biggest take on it. So I'm here to just reveal, for what I said earlier in the season. So that's why I'm really here. Veron was a fantastic player, man. Like, he's a player that when he was playing for Lazio, he was one of the best in the world, man. Like, one of the greatest. Yeah, South American. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, I see it. I see what you're saying now, man. I see what you're saying now. Yeah, so it was one of those things, as Gunner 81 saying, that South America never really do well in the Premier League, and that's just the fact. And those are some of the biggest thing that really get to me, or thing that I really sit and talk about and think about because of those situations. But come back around to Maresca. Moresca finds some way to tweak his system this time around and getting the best out of Enzo Fernandez. You know, I saw where he put like the likes of Caicedo at the right back, to invert into midfield with the Lavia. So when Lavia play and Enzo get a free roll, you see the best out of him. But when the likes of yeah, it's a really 50-50, as you say right here. It's a really 50-50 because if we should get like the likes of Reece James 100% fit, how we're gonna do it? Because right now, the best way and the best one right now to me right now it's Cucurella on the left side. You're not gonna drop Cucurella to put Reece James on the left and Caicedo at right back because you still got Gusto there. And the way how Cucurella is playing right now, he's playing like the one of the best are the best left back in the world at this point in time. The form that he's on, you can see the difference when he didn't play yesterday. You can see the big difference in that Chelsea team. That left side seems like it was dead. Because of the likes of Cucurella wasn't there. So, with Reece James' injury, I think the person who benefit the most from the Reece James injury was Enzo Fernandez because of he can at least use Caicedo as a right wing back, and he can also put Caicedo to fall into the midfield with beside Lavia, to put a two man where Enzo got the time to go giant Parma in that number 10. So that was clever from the manager. But if we're supposed to have Reece James come back to 100%, where he's not going to be injured again and probably get a run to the end of the season, and how Maresca is going to do it, he's probably going to have to find a way out to tweak it again, or probably we're going to have to use Caicedo as the only sitter, and let Enzo go to do what he's doing. But Maresca, to me, is a smart manager, and I think he will find a way how to get it or how to let it work. The oh yeah, the Brazilian do well, yeah, because you got the likes of Jorginho was at the same Edu that leave Arsenal, the sporting director. He was a pretty good midfielder too with Gilberto Silva. Sorry, Gilberto Silva. He was a dominant force in that midfield for Arsenal for many many years. Both of them. So yeah, the Brazilian tend to do well in the league. It's just the Argentinians players never really do well. So that was one of my biggest concern. And not only that either, when I look back from many of these players that really make the big money move after have a quality World Cup, the likes of this Croatian striker, David Shuka. David Shuka was a player that scored, I think, was 6 goals in the 1998 World Cup. I will never forget that. The first time Croatia went to the World Cup was 1998, and David Shuka was the most outstanding player. He make a big money move to Real Madrid, and after he made that big money move to Real Madrid, he go on to have a fantastic career because of that World Cup, because a lot of people know about David Shuka after that World Cup. He scored a trick against my beloved Jamaica, and he make his name on the world stage in that here. So for me, that was one of the players that I normally take into consideration, the players that do well after the World Cup, and make that big money move. So he went to Real Madrid. He scored one and few goals, but he did not score a lot of goals, there in Oh yeah, I think he went to yeah, as you said, I think he went to Arsenal too. But I think yeah, I think when you guys get him, Shuka, I think it was too late because the talent player that he was, and show in that World Cup. I think when he went to Real Madrid, you got the likes of Raul was there and Moto was there. So there was a lot of talented striker was there in Real Madrid when he went there. So I think that's one of the biggest problem. I think that he went there too early. to the likes of a Real Madrid with that big money move. So I think that's one of the things that's really, kind of shake him off a little bit, and then I think he went there to Inter Milan, and then he went to Arsenal. But the likes of Nickel. Oh yeah, yeah, yep. You're right. You're right. Gamer 80. Big up Miss Rosie. Thank you, Miss Rosie, for tuning in at all time. I really appreciate it. Yeah, they make the switch with him and Analka. That's some old school lesson right there for a lot of the viewers or people that don't really know the history of the beautiful game. That transfer was one of the transfer that a lot of people never really know. So thank you for the reminder. Man. I really appreciate it because you're 100% correct. You're 100% correct on this one. But I want to ask you a question though. Like you here, and I know you were Arsenal fan. What do you think about the Saka injury? Because on my stream yesterday, even though we know I'm talking about Enzo Fernandez, but we always have time to talk about anything that the viewers want to see. Who you think you will sit here and blame for that soccer injury? Because my opinion, I think that Mikel Arteta was the one that really pushed this kid over the limit, because a lot of times you guys playing and then you guys are up by 2 or 3 goals with your good defensive that team that you got, and Mikel Arteta still keep on having this young man out there, playing 90 minutes each and every week, even when your guys are dominating and helped by 3 or 4 goals. Seems like he never want to take him off or to protect him. So, in my opinion, I think that I have to sit here and I have to blame Mikel Arteta, because he's the one that in charge, or he's the one that should be protecting this young man. And to see him go down with an hamstring injury, once you start to get them, man, it's just the luck that you don't get them anymore. So I'm disappointed because he's a player that I love to see in the Premier League, even though he's competing against my team. But I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I like what I see happen to him, because with him, the Premier League is a totally different thing. Many players, but he's a player that you really want to tune in and watch week in, week out, of the talent that this young man have. Yep, Mikel Arteta ruling him. But go back to the player. And James Rodriguez was the next player that we should have look at too, when he went to Real Madrid after he had that wonderful World 2010 World Cup against that World Cup in Brazil, where he score a lot of goals. He was one of the most outstanding player in that World Cup tournament. Make another big money move again to Real Madrid, and then didn't live up to expectation. He been traveling around a lot after that World Cup, because he went to the likes of Bayern Munich. He been shuffling across the world after that FIFA World Cup. So those are some of the things that I really take into consideration when it come on to Enzo Fernandez and Lerma Mina, the Nether Colombian defender. He have this excellent World Cup, and he also make the cut to Barcelona. I think he went to Barcelona for another big fee again, and he is one of them that didn't live up to expectation. El Hadji Diouf. Remember that run that Senegal made to the first World Cup that they went to, and made that run to that quarterfinal. El Hadji Diouf made that big money move again. I think it was to Liverpool. If I'm correct, you guys can, or if I'm incorrect, you guys can correct me. But he made that big money move to Liverpool, and it didn't work out either. So there's a lot of players that we can go back in the history that really made their debut in the World Cup and on the world stage and still didn't live up to expectation. James Rodriguez, yeah, he cut out for international football, as you say right there, because that's where you see the best of him. That's where you really see
James Rodriguez, because in that time, James Rodriguez was one of the best player in the world. To be quite honest, in that World Cup, he proved that he was a force to recommend with. But every time he put on that national team jersey, that's when you get the best of him. When you put on that club jersey, you never see the best out of him. He went to Everton. He'd been bouncing around. Right now, he was in Brazil. The last time I checked it out, he was playing for some team in Brazil. So he bunks around a lot. But if you watch him playing right now for Colombia, he seems like he's a world beater. And these are some of the things that we as football fans don't really take into consideration or don't look deeply into. Enzo Fernandez. No one can sit here and say they know too much about Enzo Fernandez until that World Cup. So for me, I think that sometimes the player got the World Cup hype, because they have an excellent tournament, and then teams tend to cash in, and after they make that big money move, they tend to either don't live up to expectation or just be like a, not saying a bad player, but in between, don't end up become the world class player that they tend to. You look at what is name, the I think Dembele, that play for Paris right now, the one that they used to Barcelona buy to replace Neymar, from Borussia Dortmund. Since he made that big money move, he didn't be that world beater that everyone expected him to be. So sometimes the price tag is a thing that I think can hustle players, or to kind of like, players too much pressure for them. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that because Enzo Fernandez right now having a excellent season so far. Gonna say that yes, I want to see the same thing next season. I want to see the form that he's on right now. I want to see it next season before I said that he end up being an excellent signing. But for right now, it's something that I take deeply. I think about deeply because watching football for so many years, players can have an excellent season, and then they fall off. So it's the judge, the jury still there. The court's still going on. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's still over, but for right now, he's playing fantastic. He's showing that he the money that we pay for him. He can add something to what Chelsea are doing right now at this point in time and at this moment. But as I said earlier, when everyone is fit, and to put the best team on the pitch, you know, with Reece James in there, how you're gonna fit the likes of him, Caicedo, and also Lavia, because when Lavia is in that midfield, you can see play beside Caicedo, you can see it's a different balance. It's a more solid midfield, and I know that Morisca, as I said earlier, will find a way out to fit them all in. I know that he will, figure it out because he's shown that, he got a system for every team that he come up against. So he's not just a one way street in Morisca. He's trying to find multiple ways, how to get away from a lot of these situations so far. So even if there's a traffic, we find different route to go to, to get away from the traffic and keep going. So I know that he will figure it out. And right now, as I said, he's playing fantastic. Since he's been here for Chelsea, he proved that he got control of these players, and these players are playing for him, and these players are understanding what he need from them, especially Enzo. Because Enzo's proven that he definitely working hard, and he definitely trying to be a leader out there. Not saying he's a fully grown leader right now, but he's shown leadership, and that's all you can ask for from all of these young players. Young players, you only can ask them to be a leader and help them to be a leader. But right now, he's showing that he's a leader. You can see the fight, you can see the passion, and that's all you can ask for at this time. But Enzo right now is living up, not saying to this fullest of the wage, the money that they pay for him, but you've seen signs that he can go on and be a good player, because of the coach build a system that can fit him. And that's all you can ask for. Majority of these times, the only thing you can ask for is for your players, to prove and show that they're worth the money that you pay for them. And right now he's doing good because let me pull up at the stat on my phone, because his first season at Chelsea, he played 18 games when he come in the January. He didn't get any goals. He got two assists and 3 yellow cards. No red. The following season he played 28 games. He played let me see. He played 28 games, 3 goals, 2 assists, and 7 yellow cards. So you can see the physicality of him. Yeah, you're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. Enzo and Nunes, they both have underwhelming move. Yep, because I won't sit here and even blame all the players, for the big money that the club charge for them. I'll be more put the blame on the clubs, because a lot of clubs these days, try everything to get or to gain whatever they can gain from the team from the Premier League, because everyone is saying that the Premier League got this outstanding you know wage that they can pay, and fee that they were willing to pay for players, because the money is there. So a lot of these teams try to take as much as they can, but we can't put that on the players, because the players don't have anything to do with it. I think the players are just there, because they signed this contract, and they sign to the clubs, and the clubs decide, most of the times the fee, or less the agent trying to put a buyout clause in it. And majority of these clubs don't want to agree unless the buyout clause is a big, big, big payoff, So I want to sit here and even blame players for wage, because they have nothing to do with the fee, the transfer fees. Most likely the other clubs are getting greedy because of the Premier League, they know the money's there. So with the money, that's in the Premier League, and it's not in the rest of leagues, that's one of the big factor, So the football scale was getting out of hand. So I kind of like how they kind of put the little caps now recently on a lot of these stuff, because it definitely needed. They definitely need stuff like this in the Premier League, because the Premier League can continue to go on in that manner. If you understand what I mean, like football the game is changing, and the money was getting out of way out of hand, because these clubs start to charge all these players. Some of these players not gonna go on to be world class, because not every players that your club buy or your team buy gonna end up be a world class player. It's still gonna have a lot to go on with a lot of these teams and a lot of these players. So it's a very good trying to balance out the book, and take some of the pressure off these players, because when you buy a player for so much money, the fans are expecting these players to come in and hit the ground running. The club is expecting to make sure they play the startup. These players have to be playing because they pay so much for them. So it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure on all of these players. These players got a lot of pressure on them because of what they want them to do, because of this big wages. A lot of these players start to overwork themselves, and that's what lead to injury. So a lot of these players, man, they definitely need someone to protect them. The coach have to start to protect the players too. even from themselves. I know that a lot of these players want to play week in, week out, but sometimes you have to look and tell them, like, I understand, but you have to sit this one out. So the coaches need to start to protect the players too, from themselves, because these players can have self-destruct, if you don't take it into consideration. The clubs have to step in. Someone have to step in. Someone have to. Give me a second. Yeah, so this is my Fernandez, video that I've been rescheduling for a long time because of, the situation. The situation of Fernandez is a very, very sticky situation. A lot of people still got the jury out on him because a lot of people still wondering if he's good enough for the Premier League, or if he should go to the likes of a Barcelona, or a Real Madrid, the style or the type of play, or even the Italian league, because it's a more slower pace, and with his techniques, will do well over there too. But right now, he's proven that he can come go up with the big boys in the Premier League. Doesn't matter how physical the league is, he's showing that he can find his way around it. And thanks to the coach that really helped him, to be fulfilling his dream, because the Chelsea move was a dream move for him, according to him. So now he's living up to the expectation, and let it may continue, because that's all you can ask for. You have to just look at it and just say that right now he is playing like the player that Chelsea was looking for from the World Cup. And right now he's living up to it, and hope it continue, not only just this season, because you don't want to say next season the jury's still going to come out again if he doesn't start to perform well, and said it was just a one-off. So he need to be consistent with this performance. And I want to say thank you for each and every one that joined me today. Big up BX Gunners 81, was in the comment section. Miss Rosie was here too. I want to say thank you for everyone that tuned in. This was going to be a short video, guys. It wasn't going to be a long one. So hopefully tomorrow I can put out another stream for you guys, a longer one. If there's any news that pop out, I will try to jump on it tomorrow. But the top 8 show every weekend, as usual, guys. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. We still got a lot of stuff that we are planning. In the new year, I was gonna do one of those game nights that we normally do. Because we normally do game nights where I give away like some Amazon gift cards, or if you have PayPal, that you can enter the games. So we got those things coming up for the after the holidays, to be honest, because this holiday is a running holiday for me. I thought I would have do the game show. Big up Marin, my one of my great panelists that always be here on the top 8 show or the Chelsea show, whatever show we're doing. I want to say thank you, bro. But for me, it's a good way to start the new year. Probably in mid-January, when everything's settled down, all the holidays is off. We probably can plan the game nights a little bit better. I should have done it Saturday night, but I have to cancel it because of a lot of stuff going on. My sister is here, from Jamaica, so she's here right now. So spending a lot of quality time there, and it's just a lot for the holiday. So sorry, guys. Because I know a lot of people were looking forward for the game night, because the game nights normally be very, very, very interested. We play bingo on here, where you pick a number and the winner, get an Amazon gift card. Or if you're in the United Kingdom, you have to be PayPal. So if you're in the US, it's easier to get a gift card, because because the I didn't realize that Amazon gift card, you have to use it. You have to get the UK one. You know, the one that I buy in the US can't use in the UK. So that's the difference. And I didn't know that. But, you know, game night's coming up, guys, and we're going to have more. So remember, you know, tell a friend about the stream or share it with your friends or on your social media if you can. I would really appreciate it. And as I said, this is not only about Chelsea. We do the top 8 show. So we got a lot of things coming up in the pipeline. We got the Premier League weekly news is coming up too. Is something that we want to be consistent with. So there's something that's going to come up for a show almost every week. We're probably going to have a show, a Premier League, you know, news where all the teams in the Premier League, we cover every single news that break, you know, from those teams. You know, doesn't matter which team it is, if you're in the relegation zone. So we got a lot coming up, guys. So I want to say thank you for each and every one that tune in. This is a boy GFC Garvan, and I want to say thank you again. And I want to say, remember, check out every single show that we're putting out, because the new year coming, it's going to be bigger, badder, and better. So I want to say peace and thank you, guys. I'm out.
Successful, I feel. All the memories come flooding back, hit different. I've changed a lot, friends list got thinner. Ain't tripping about enemies, true and stay hidden. He was lurking, so we made sure he went missing. Told the fakers to leave, but they wouldn't listen. They faulty, now they gotta watch me glisten. They ain't silent, like some snakes, they stay hissing. Spreading words and rumors, they gon' keep dissing.